Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
But I want to go leap now at 10 minutes after 7 o'clock to our good friend Joan Underwood, the president of HRMAB. And today we want to take a look. Joan, good morning, by the way.
Good morning.
Now, I've been saying all morning long, we're just days away from this year's HR Bootcamp. Let's remind people of the date and the how, and then we'll talk some more.
Okay, so March 16th and 17th, and the boot camp is going to be taking place in a hybrid format. Day one is going to be face-to-face, so we're going to be at the Sandals Resort and started, so you need to be on time, so plan accordingly to navigate the crazy traffic so that you can get down. We have registration between 8 and 8:30. We're starting off at 8:30 with our very brief opening ceremony, and then we kick into a panel discussion where HR is going to be quiet and we're going to listen to our stakeholders. So that panel discussion is what stakeholders need from HR. And we will be hearing from employers, we will be hearing from a representative from the trade union, and we are waiting for confirmation in terms of who will represent the government. So we'll hear from the tripartite stakeholders that we serve. Then we go into our pillar champions. So from PwC, we have Lisa Moore, who is going to be telling us how we master the numbers. And she has said that the title for her segment is The Numbers Tell a Story. So for most of us, when we want a good story, we don't look to numbers, we look to words. So we're going to figure out how we can tell a compelling story with the numbers and how we can understand, interpret, and analyze the stories that the numbers can tell us. We're also going to be going into the employment pillar. And it was interesting in the last news item there about that judgment,
Yes.
which declared a certain call from, the public service regulations unconstitutional. So you see how important it is to really have a sound understanding of the laws that affect employment. So we have pillar champion Michael Koyman, who's going to take us through the absolute must-know components for employment law if you're going to be practicing effectively in Barbados. We also have change management, and Deloitte is going to be our pillar champion there. Kerry Jordan specifically is going to show us how to successfully navigate change. And of course, Khadija Moore is going to take us through how we ensure that the business strategy aligns with your HR strategy so that they're mutually reinforcing as opposed to working at cross purposes. And it's interesting because we put up a poll on our Whova app yesterday to find out how many of our attendees have an HR strategy. The poll only went up yesterday, but it's instructive. I checked just before I came on, and no one who has responded to the poll thus far has an active HR strategy. So that's not exactly where we need to be. So that's something we're going to be working on. So that's day one. We wrap it out with a networking reception. So we get to mix and mingle, learn from each other, enjoy each other's company. Day two is going to be virtual. So we have the capstone of the coming back to Q&A, anything you want to ask the champions, they will tell you what you absolutely need to take away and begin applying. And we wrap up at 12:30 on the Friday, March 17th.
That's a lot, but it's a lot of good things, Joan, happening. And I'm sure for those of the past who are HR practitioners are thinking, but why are you all doing all of that? That's not what HR is about. Because HR has evolved. The function of HR has evolved. And so this bootcamp seeks to bring those practitioners now up to scratch with the new way of doing HR.
Exactly. That's why it's dubbed a strategic partner bootcamp. Because if we want that seat at the table, we want to be in the C-suite, we want to be in the board meetings, guiding and influencing decision making, we need to understand what's required required in the boardroom? How do you add value in the boardroom? And these are the very issues that you need to master to earn that seat at the table.
The other thing to my mind that also highlights is that HR is not just a practice of HR is not just a case of you're shuffling paper. It has to be a far more in depth now, where some analyses have to be done, not just broadening your knowledge on what the rule book says, but being able to analyze the situations and being able to present alternative cases. And that's what you're seeking to do through the bootcamp. So for those who are watching, give them the why. Paint that picture vividly, Joan, for why they have to attend the bootcamp.
Absolutely need to attend the boot camp if you want to take your career to the next level. No matter what level you're at, we cannot remain complacent. We have to be committed to continuing learning and education. And it's interesting because, again, on the Whova app, I've been interacting with registrants, and one person said, I'm not even in HR yet, but I'm coming because I'm thinking about a career change and I want to understand what it's all about.
Nice.
So in terms of the why, you need to know what the strategic human resource is all about. And for the most part, we're good with the operational HR, right? Because most of the programming is caters towards that, whether it's your academic programming, short courses, etc. What you need to be able to hone in on is the more strategic orientation. So when you're in a business, whether it's, whatever sector you're in, and the business says, this is our strategy, this is our mission, this is our vision. As HR practitioners, we need to be able to take that and say, what do we need to do in terms of the human resource capacity within the organization to deliver on that vision and the mission? So what are the competencies that we need to bring in? What sort of culture do we need to be formulating within this organization? How can we ensure that the policies, procedures, etc., support and reinforce that overall business strategy? We know that the only thing constant is change. We've also heard the statistics that up to 70% of change initiatives fail. When you go deeper into that research, it tells you that the primary reason for the failure is lack of adequate attention to the people side of change. And who's responsible for the people? It's HR. So we have to show up in a way that says that we understand the change process, the people side of change, not just the project management aspect of the change, and that we have the knowledge, skills, and abilities we need to take people along the change journey, to create an awareness of the need for change, a desire to be part of the change, the ability to change, the knowledge to change, and to put things in place that reinforce the change so you don't revert to the prior status once people stop looking at you. Right? So with the numbers, HR practitioners cannot expect to be taken seriously if we can't read financial statements, if we don't know how to quantify the work that we're doing. So imagine someone comes into a senior executive meeting, an HR practitioner, and says, we had, 10 people absent last week. So compare that now. We had X dollars worth of lost productivity last week. Once you start talking about the dollars and cents, people are going to start paying attention.
Yes.
Right? So you need to be able to convert what we typically trade in into something that's more meaningful and that can inform decision making. So these are just a few of the reasons why it's absolutely imperative that any HR practitioner who wants to add significant value to their organization needs to be at the boot camp.
I think you've answered two questions I wanted to ask, but two in one, because there are two sides that have these emotions. One that says, I'm new to HR and I'm not sure if this sounds as if it's beyond me, I'm going to wait it out. And then there's the other side that says, I've been doing this for a long time, what can you all tell me now that's different? And I want you to appeal to both sides of that argument so that they see themselves at the table to be a part of the boot camp coming up.
Beautiful question. So as I indicated, like the young lady with whom I was engaging from yesterday, even if you are just starting out, you're thinking about starting out, begin with the end in mind. Understand where you need to be in order to be successful in your role, and start putting in a solid foundation so that from the interview stage, if you're looking for an HR position, you can start bringing this into the conversation. And I guarantee you, you're going to get the attention of the people who are viewing you if you start talking about the strategic aspects of HR and how HR can add value. And so, not to worry that it's going to be overwhelming. And something I want to emphasize for both registrants, those who are younger in the field and those who are veterans. And I've been mentioning the platform because it's such a tremendous resource. Once you've completed your registration, you're given credentials to log on to our Whova platform. And that is a community of practice where we share with each other. So persons, including registrants, can post articles that you found interesting, or something you're grappling with at work and you want to know, what do you guys think of? So you can start a discussion by asking a question. So for example, one registrant started a conversation about employee engagement. What stage of the employee life cycle start to focus on employee engagement topic, and she's already starting to get responses to that. The more experienced HR practitioners, come and share, come and mentor the new and upcoming folks, and interact with your peers, because sometimes it can be very lonely when you're in a leadership role. And so even if you're at the top of your game, come and talk to your peers, share with them what you've been experiencing, your challenges, your victories. So let's really get together and network, because networking works.
It works.
And also for the more experienced folks, remember we have our colleagues coming in from CPHR Canada. They're our gold sponsor. They're going to be here sharing the Canadian, the North American experience with us. They're going to be telling us what they've done about certification, and that's a huge issue. We did a poll recently asking HR practitioners, how many of you actually have international certification? And even though something like 70% of the respondents identified as being managers or even more senior to that, the majority do not have certification. So it's something that we need to rectify as we talk about the professionalization of HR.
Joan, what a mouthful, but well said and well put indeed. So folks, listen, if you need more information, go onto the website HRMAB.org and .bb, and you can get to see how you can register. Look at the pillars right there. The Strategic Business Partner Bootcamp is on, and we want to encourage you to sign up today, to register today. There's a lot you will benefit from. And of course, for those of you who are attending, you have a grand prize of a BIMAP scholarship. So every good reason now for you to be a part of it, definitely. We're going to leave it there, Joe, but thank you so much as always for joining us this morning as we talked HR with HRMAB. Indeed, I wish you the very best. Thanks, Joan.
Okay, one thing before I go, thank you so much to CBC, and the deadline for registration is going to be the Monday before Bootcamp. I think it's the 13th, but the deadline is 9:30 a.m. on Monday the 13th. So do not be...
Well said. Well said. Do not be left napping. Do not be caught off guard. Monday is the deadline. Not this coming Monday, the Monday we're after. So sign up for the HR Bootcamp.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning.